Cheryl, I want to talk to you a little bit about the COVID numbers and what's happening with COVID. We've had the protests out. We've had now this weekend big crowds for a gay pride parade in New York and in Chicago. Doctors actually put out a position paper about how racism and these protests, et cetera, were bigger and more important than COVID. And yet at the same time, we're being yelled at to stay inside and keep our masks on. And this isn't over. It's about to get worse. Which is it? Which is it?
I don't think we know. And I've spent a great deal of time talking to scientists. Some I know, some I didn't know before this, but who are working on coronavirus directly, some for the government, some for academic institutions. And despite what is being widely said on the media, such as, well, the mask dispute has been decided, we all know that we should wear masks, or the scientific dispute over staying indoors has been decided, we all know it's saving lives, that's not true according to the scientists. They won't say that necessarily publicly. They say for fear of appearing to contradict Dr. Fauci or national policy, but scientifically, this is far from conclusive in their view. And I think we won't know a lot of it until some years down the road. And one thing, if history is any guide, we will absolutely look back in a few years and see that some of the things we thought were true were maybe the opposite of what we should have done. Mm-hmm. I mean, my main objection, Glenn, is, science is like that. So I don't have a problem with the government necessarily initially saying, don't wear masks, it hurts, and then, oh, absolutely do wear masks or you're crazy. I don't have such a problem with that if they only had said at the time, this is the best of what we can figure based on what we know now. But they never say that. Yes. They act like you were stupid to think you ever shouldn't wear a mask when they were the ones telling you not to wear a mask. It's just,
right.
Several weeks before. And so the whole notion that people are presenting these decided truths when it's very much in flux is what I find objectionable.
Well, that and the fact that they speak, like you say, with such authority. This is what it is. And anything else, right, you're trying to kill people. And then when it's something that they really agree with, like the protests, they will actually say, well, yeah, except for this. And so I don't know how you're going to get people back on board. If it gets bad, they've hurt their credibility so badly that if and when this thing, God forbid, starts to really ramp up again and become very dangerous, nobody's going to listen to them, or at least half of the country is not going to listen to them because they have zero credibility.
This is a longstanding argument about government, scientists, and so on. Every time you pick an issue and they claim at the moment that they know what's right, and there are forces out there that try to pretend, then therefore nothing evolves, the science is settled, and so on. But then, logical minds know better. They're ruining their own credibility for the next time. It's not the fault of the public that doubts certain things. They've created that doubt by their past behavior. And to blame the people for wondering and for hearing and reading different scientific opinions and then drawing their own conclusions, to blame the public as if they're stupid or trying to kill people or hateful, I think this is the fault of those who, as you said, present with such authority things that are not settled and are still unknown, only to be proven incorrect sometimes later.
So I just can't understand what people are thinking, honestly, and how this is happening. The mayor, I just talked to the mayor of a small town in Texas called Colleyville. It's a suburb of Dallas. And the news is that this guy is defying all orders, and he's saying, we're not going to have the police stop you if you're not wearing a mask. I don't care what the governor says. I don't care what medicine says. You're not to wear a mask, and we're not going to enforce it. When I got him on the air today and I asked him about it, he said, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the police don't have the power to arrest you or to be able to prosecute you. According to our DA, we can't, this is not a law. It's a recommendation. And so we just wanted to be really clear with our citizens. Don't call the police if somebody's not wearing a mask, because we can't enforce that. So what's the motivation for the press to just get it that wrong?
You know, I think there's several issues at play that are deeper and go far beyond coronavirus, with bigger ideas of what they want to push and why coming into an election cycle, maybe true beliefs that they have. I think a lot of members of the press are very closed-minded and groupthinkish, which would surprise people, because we are supposed to be the ones who would listen to all sides and examine things, but they tend to, believe it or not, listen to a government authority like maybe with CDC and not question logically things that should be logically questioned. They tend to say these days, weirdly enough, well, that's the word, that's what's to accept, even if it contradicts something they said 3 weeks ago. This is now the thing we all have to believe and do. I don't know. I don't really know where that mentality comes in, because I was taught in journalism school to question, not just ridiculously question, but to just look at all the stuff that authorities and government corporations are putting out and want you to believe, and try to look critically and neutrally and listen to other sides. But that seems like an antiquated notion now.